हरि जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जय। नित्य लीला विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य विष्णु महाभागवत श्री गोक्षर बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्य विष्णु श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्य विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुग गुरु वार्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नामचय श्री रस ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट विराट गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री मुन देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाय की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणेति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिशे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूत हृदयां मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदन्तस्तो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतम्। नष्टप्रयेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत् सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वां नायमं चरणन्तिकम्। भक्त्या विहीन अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, everybody. Dandavat Pranam. Hari Bol, Indira Mataji, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji. Hari Bol, everybody. Yes, Prajumna Prabhu, I am well. The reason I have my camera shut off is because I got ready late this morning, though. And anyhow, I can turn it on. There. All right, so where are we? So yesterday we got close to the end. We almost finished the chapter, but let's get a little recap here. Okay. So by the end of the day, Krishna, Balaram, and Akrura reached Mathura. Akrura invited Krishna to visit his home, but Krishna said that he would come after killing Kamsa. Krishna, Balaram, and the Gopas eagerly went out to see the splendorous city of Mathura, filled with tall gates, archways, doors of gold, pleasant parks, mansions, peacocks, gem-studded floors, balconies, and so on. The residents of the city, especially the women, were eager to see Krishna. They had often heard about him and developed deep attraction. Krishna and Balaram met a washerman on the path. Krishna asked him for some clothes, but the arrogant washerman of Kamsa not only denied Krishna's request, but also chastised the two lords as uncivilized mountain dwellers and forest wanderers who desired the king's garments. Krishna, as if becoming angry, beheaded him merely with his fingertips and thus liberated him. The washerman's assistants dropped their clothes and fled. Krishna, Balaram, and the Gopas then took garments that suited them. Thereafter, Krishna and Balaram saw a weaver who lovingly came forward and decorated them with beautiful cloth ornaments. Pleased with the weaver, Krishna blessed him that after death he would achieve Sarupya Mukti, and while in this world he would enjoy supreme opulence, physical strength, influence, memory, and sensory vigor. The two brothers then went to the house of the florist named Sudama. Sudama offered them obeisances, bathed their feet, worshipped them, and offered them garlands of fragrant flowers. Sudama asked for pure devotion, friendship with the devotees, and compassion for all living beings, and Krishna gladly granted them. Krishna then came upon Trivakra, Kubja, a young hunchbacked maid of Kamsa, who was carrying fragrant ointments for the king. Krishna asked her identity and requested for some ointments. Trivakra was attracted to Krishna's beauty and gave both the brothers her ointments. Krishna then pressed her toes with his lotus feet, took hold of her chin, and lifted her, thus strengthening her spine. In a moment, Trivakra became splendidly beautiful. Attracted to Krishna with conjugal feelings, she even grabbed Krishna's cloth, asking him to come to her house. Krishna avoided the invitation, promising her to visit later. Krishna proceeded further and arrived at the arena of Shiva's bow. Although the guards blocked his way, Krishna forcibly picked up the bow, effortlessly strung it, and broke it in half, producing an ear-splitting sound that struck terror in the heart of Kamsa. Krishna and Balaram then picked up the two halves of the bow and beat to death the guards who attacked them. The people of Mathura were astonished to see the amazing prowess and beauty of the boys. At sunset, Krishna and Balaram returned to the cowherds' camp and rested peacefully. But Nanda Maharaj couldn't sleep out of concern for the boy's safety, and Kamsa also couldn't sleep, fearing his imminent death and seeing many ill omens. Hari Bol, Ganga Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Okay, so now let's finish up this previous chapter, chapter 42. What was the last verse we ended on? After Krishna's and Balaram's feet were bathed, the two lords ate rice with milk. Then, although knowing what Kamsa intended to do, they spent the nights there comfortably. Do you read this? I think this is where we read up to. Kamsastu dhanusho bhangam rakshinam swabalasya cha vadam nishamya govinda rama vikriditam param tirga prajagaro bhito durnimitani durmati bahunya chashto bhayata mrityurdhotya karani cha. Wicked King Kamsa, on the other hand, was terrified, having heard how Krishna and Balaram had broken the bow and killed his guards and soldiers, all simply as a game. He remained awake for a long time, and both while awake and while dreaming, he saw many bad omens, messengers of death. After hearing that the killing commentary by Sārārtha-darśinī Vritti by Śrīla Viśvanātha Ṭhākura. After hearing that the killing of his guards and troops was merely the sport of Krishna and Balaram and not any display of prowess, Kamsa saw many signs like messengers of his impending death, both while waking and sleeping. Oh, we did read that one. Did we read this one also? Anyways, whatever. Darshanam swa shirasa darshanam sashirasa pratirup. No, what's the meter for this? Oh, it's just a normal verse, sorry. Adarshanam sashirasha pratirupe cha satyapi asatyapi dvitiye cha dvairupyam jyotisham tata chitra pratitishchayayam pranagoshanupashruti swarna pratir viksheshu swapadanam adarshanam Swarna pratitir vriksheshu swapadanam adarshanam. Sorry. Swapne preta parishvanga karayanam vishadanam yayan naladamalykas taila bhyakto digambara anyani chetam bhutani swapna jagaritani cha pashyan marana santrashto nidram lebe na chintaya. When he looked at his reflection, he could not see his head. For no reason, the moon and stars appeared double. He saw a hole in his shadow. He could not hear the sound of his life air. Trees seemed covered with a golden hue, and he could not see his footprints. He dreamt that he was being embraced by ghosts, riding a donkey and drinking poison, and also that a naked man smeared with oil was passing by wearing a garland of nalada flowers. Seeing these and other such omens both while dreaming and while awake, Kamsa was terrified by the prospect of death, and out of anxiety he could not sleep. Commentary. The inauspicious omens are explained in 3 verses. Though Kamsa saw his reflection in the mirror, the reflection was headless. The moon and other planets appeared double for no apparent reason. There were no holes in his shadow. He could not hear his heartbeat when covering his ears with his palms, nor could he see his footprints in the dust or mud. Trees appeared golden in color. These omens were perceived in Kamsa's waking state. Kamsa saw these omens in his dreams. Ghosts embracing him, riding a donkey, drinking poison, and a naked man covered in oil passing by wearing a garland of java flowers. In this way, Kamsa saw many astonishing things, both in waking and sleeping states. Vyushtayam nishikoravya surya chadbhya samuthite karayam asavai kangso mallakrida mahotsavam. When the night had finally passed and the sun rose up again from the water, Kamsa set about arranging for the grand wrestling festival. Commentary. When the night broke and the sun rose from the water, that refers to a Vedic verse, Yad udagan mahatornavad vibramajamana shilasya madhyat Samavrishabhyo lohitaksha surya vipashchin manasa punatu. May the red-eyed, most excellent, omniscient sun, rising up from the great ocean, purify the universe. Interesting. Anarcho purusharangam turyabheryashcha jagnire manchaschalankritasragbhi pataka chalatoranai. The king's men performed the ritual worship of the wrestling arena, sounded their drums and other instruments, and decorated the viewing galleries with garlands, flags, ribbons, and arches. Commentary. Kangsa's servants decorated the arena with auspicious pots and other things. They began to beat the drums with sticks. Teshupora janapada brahmakshatra purogama yatopajosham vivishu rajanashchakritasana. The city dwellers and residents of the outlying districts, led by Brahmins and Kshatriyas, came and sat down comfortably in the galleries. The royal guests received special seats. Commentary. The guests sat down comfortably. Kangsa parivrito matyai rajamancha upavishat mandaleshvaramadhyasto hridayena viduyata. Surrounded by his ministers, Kangsa took a seat on the imperial dais. But even as he sat amidst his various provincial rulers, his heart trembled. Commentary. When Kangsa sat down, his heart trembled. Viduyata. Vadyamaneshu turyeshu mallatal talottareshu cha malla swalankrita dripta sopadhyaya samasata. While the musical instruments loudly played in the rhythmic meters appropriate for wrestling matches, the lavishly ornamented wrestlers proudly entered the arena with their coaches and sat down. Commentary. The instruments played music and rhythms suitable for a wrestling match. Chanuro mushtika kutta shalashcho shala evacha saase dur upasthanam valguvadya praharshita. Enthused by the pleasing music, Chanura, Mushtika, Kuta, Shala, and Toshala sat down on the wrestling mat. Commentary. The wrestlers sat down on the mat in the wrestling ring. Nanda Gopa Dayo Gopa Bhoja Raja Samahuta Nivedito Payanasta Ekasmin Mancha Avishan. Nanda Maharaj and the other cowherds, summoned by the king of the Bhojas, presented him with their offerings and then took their seats in one of the galleries. Commentary. The word Samahuta indicates that King Kangsa respectfully called Nanda Maharaj and the leaders of Vraj forward so that they could make their offerings to the central government. Kangsa assured Nanda as follows: "My dear king of Vraj, you are the most important of my village rulers. Yet, even though you have come to Mathura from your cowherd village, you have not come to visit me. Is that because you are frightened? Don't think that your two sons are bad because they broke the bow. I invited them here because I heard that they were extremely powerful, and I have arranged this wrestling match as a test of their strength. Please come forward without hesitation. Don't be afraid." Nanda Maharaj noticed his two sons were not present. Apparently, out of disrespect for King Kangsa's order, they had taken the morning off and gone elsewhere. Thus, Kangsa delegated some cowherd men who were affectionate, close relatives to look for Krishna and Balaram and advise them to behave properly and come back to the wrestling arena. Upananda and others quickly came forward and offered yogurt, ghee, cloth, and gold coins to King Kangsa. Not seeing any space on the platform of the king, Nanda and the other cowherd men sat in the galleries. Thus ends the commentary on the 42nd chapter of the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam for the pleasure of the devotees, in accordance with the previous acharyas. Now, 43. Krishna kills the elephant Kuvalaya Pida. Let me check the comments. Haribo, Madhusudan Prabhu, and Madhavi Didi, Dandavat Pranams. Okay. Shri Shuka Uvacha Ata Krishnascha Ramascha Krita Shocho Parantapa Maladundu vinirghosham shrutva drashtum upeyatu. Shukadev Goswami said, O chastiser of enemies, Krishna and Balaram, having executed all necessary purification, then heard the kettle drums resounding at the wrestling arena, and they went there to see what was happening. Commentary. This chapter describes Krishna's killing of the king of elephants, Kuvalaya, his causing a downpour of sweetness and opulence when he entered the wrestling arena. Oh, that's a very famous verse. And his discussion with the wrestler Chanura. Atha. Next. That word signifies that early in the morning, Krishna and Balaram, without telling their father and elders, early in the morning, without telling their father and elders, they went to the bank of the Yamuna with their friends. Before washing their faces and hands, they said, "Oh friends, listen to the drums announcing the wrestling match. Let us now leave here and go to the arena." Then everyone quickly went to see the wrestling match. Rangadvaram samasadya tasmin nagam avastitam apashyat kuvalaya pidam krishnom bhashta prachoditam. When Lord Krishna reached the entrance to the arena, he saw the elephant Kuvalayapid blocking his way at the urging of his keeper. Commentary. Krishna saw the elephant Kuvalayapid being instigated by his trainer. Badva parikaram shauri samuhya kutila lakan uvacha hasitam vacha meghanada gambhiraya. Securely binding up his clothes and tying back his curly locks, Krishna addressed the elephant keeper with words as grave as the rumbling of a cloud. Commentary. Krishna took off his shirt, tightened his belt, and placed the garlands and other dangling objects over his shoulder. He tucked his curly locks under his turban with his fingers. But fearing that they would become loose at the time of combat, Krishna tied back his hair with his upper cloth. Bhashtam bhashtamargam no dehyapakramamachiram no chet sa kunjaram tvadya nayami yamasadhanam. Lord Krishna said, "O driver, move aside at once and let us pass. If you don't, this very day I will send both you and your elephants to the abode of Yamaraj." Commentary. Krishna said, "I will send you to the abode of Yama Sadhanam." The phrase Yama Sadhanam also indicates liberation because it is attained by Yama, by the control of the mind. Evam nirbharsito bhashta kupita kopitam gajam chodayam asa krishnaya kalantaka yamopamam. Thus threatened, the elephant keeper became angry. He goaded his furious elephant, who appeared equal to time, death, and Yamaraj, and he goaded him into attacking Lord Krishna. Commentary. He instigated the elephant to catch Krishna. The elephant is described as being like Yamaraj, who brings an end to one's life through the force of time. However, Krishna is the master of time, which is stronger than the elephant. Thus, the elephant and his master could do no harm to Krishna. By using this phrase, Kalantaka Yamopamam, comparable to time, death, and Yamaraj, Shukadev was comforting fearful Parikshit. Karendrastam abhitrutya karena tarasa grahit karadvikalita somung nihatyang grishvaliyata. The lord of the elephants charged Krishna and violently seized him with his trunk. But Krishna slipped away, struck him a blow, and disappeared from his view among his legs. Commentary. Using its trunk, the elephant seized the waist of Krishna, who was standing there fearlessly. Krishna struck the elephant on his trunk, and with his Krishna struck the elephant on his trunk with his left fist. As the elephant lost control from that punch, Krishna slipped out of his grasp and disappeared between his four legs, which were as big as pillars. The word angarishu, among his legs, can be explained as follows. First, Krishna hid behind one leg, and when the elephant used his sense of smell to detect him, Krishna would hide behind another leg. In this way, playful Krishna cheated the elephant in many ways and showed the public his remarkable daring. Sankrudhastam achakshano Granadrishti sakeshavam paramrishtat pushkarena saprasahya vinirgata. Infuriated at being unable to see Lord Keshav, the elephant sought him out with his sense of smell. Once again, Kuvalaya seized Lord Krishna. He seized the Lord with the end of his trunk, only to have the Lord forcefully free himself. Commentary. Not being able to see Krishna, the elephant detected him with his sense of smell and seized Krishna with his trunk once again. With a desire to display his feats to the public and to encourage the beast to keep fighting, Krishna allowed himself to be seized by the elephant's trunk. When the elephant thought he was successful, Krishna forcefully freed himself, saying, "So, you want to show your strength?" Punche pragriyati balam dhanusha panchavingshatim vichakarsha yatanagam suparna ipalilaya. Lord Krishna then grabs the powerful Kuvalaya Pirda by the tail and playfully dragged him 25 bow lengths, as easily as Garuda might drag a snake. Commentary. Krishna drags the elephant 25 bow lengths, which equals 125 feet, or 100 hand widths, distant by his tail. The elephant could not stop this. I love these systems of measurement, bow lengths and hand widths. Saparyavartamanena savyadakshinato chutam babrahma brahmyamena. Sorry, let me try that again. Babrahma brahmyamanena govatsene babalaka. As Lord Achyuta held onto the elephant's tail, the animal tried to twist away to the left and to the right, making the Lord swerve in the opposite direction, as a young boy would swerve when pulling a calf by the tail. Commentary. In order to encourage the elephant to fight, Krishna slightly slackens the force of his pulling. When the elephant regains strength, and he would turn to the left in order to catch Krishna, who is holding his tail. Krishna would then move to the right. When the elephant would turn to the right, then Krishna would go to the left, just as a strong boy is moved about while clutching the tail of a calf. Tato bhimakamabhetya panina hatyavaranam pradravan patayam asa sprishyamana pade pade. Krishna then came face to face with the elephant and slapped him and ran away. Kuvalayapid pursued the Lord. Kuvalayapid pursued the Lord, managing to touch him again and again with each step. But Krishna outmaneuvered the elephant and made him trip and fall. Commentary. In order to play in a different way, Krishna let go of the elephant's tail. Krishna then struck the elephant lightly with his hands. If Krishna had given him a proper blow, it would have killed him immediately and ended the game. After striking the elephant, Krishna quickly ran away without any effort, but he then reduced his speed to encourage the elephant. When the elephant began to touch him, Krishna stumbled as if tired of running to make the elephant fall on the ground. Sadhavan kridaya bhumo patitva sahisotita tangmatva patitam krudho tantabhyam sohanakshitim. As Krishna dodged about, he playfully fell on the ground and quickly got up again. The raging elephants, thinking Krishna was down, tried to gore him with his tusks, but struck the earth instead. Krishna's having a lot of fun here. Commentary. To make the elephant forcefully strike the hard stone on the ground, Krishna pretended to fall on the ground and slowly rise up. Seeing Krishna on the ground, the elephant became determined to kill him. The elephant fell on his knees and dug the earth with his tusks. At the very fraction of a moment, the elephant was hurling his tusks, and Krishna got up and ran to another spot. Swavikrame pratihate kunjarendro tamarshita Chodyamano Mahamatrai Krishnamabhyadravadurusha. His prowess foiled, the lordly elephant Kuvalaya went into a frenzied rage out of frustration. But the elephant keepers goaded him on, and he furiously charged Krishna once again. Tam apatantamasadya Bhagavan Madhusudana Nigriha Panina Hastam Patayam Asabhutale. The Supreme Lord, killer of the demon Madhu, confronted the elephant as he attacked. Seizing his trunk with one hand, Krishna threw him to the ground. Commentary. Noticing that time was passing, Krishna concluded his sporting with Kuvalaya. Krishna nonchalantly caught the elephant's trunk with his left hand. Patitasya padakramya mrigendra ivalilaya tantamutpatatene bham hasti pangs chahana dhari. Lord Hari then climbed onto the elephant with the ease of a mighty lion, pulled out a tusk, and with it killed the beast and his keepers. Mritakam dvipamutsreja dantapani samavishat angsanyasta vishanushrin madabindu birankita viruda svedakanika vadanam buruho babho. Leaving the dead elephant aside, Lord Krishna held onto the tusk and entered the wrestling arena. With the tusk resting on his shoulder, drops of the elephant's blood and sweat sprinkled all over him, and his lotus face covered with fine drops. His lotus face was covered with fine drops of his own perspiration. Thus, the Lord shone with great beauty. Commentary. With the elephant's tusk perched on his shoulder, fine particles of perspiration like drops of dew on his lotus face, and the drops of blood and what's ichor? Anyways, the drops of blood and ichor from the elephant. Krishna's body glistened with beauty and appeared as the epitome of viraras, chivalry or heroism. What's ichor? The fluid which flows like blood in the veins of the gods. A watery discharge from a wound. Okay. Vritto Gopaya Katipayar Baladeva Janardana Rangam Vivishatu Rajan Gajadanta Varayudo. My dear king, Lord Baladev and Lord Janardhan, each carrying one of the elephant's tusks as his chosen weapon, entered the arena with several cowherd boys. Oh, this is the verse. This is a very, very famous verse, quoted all the time. But how do you sing it, actually? What's the meter? One second, just want to make sure that message doesn't have to do with... No. Okay. Anyways, I'm just going to read it, however. Oh, I got it. It's the same as Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Malanam ashanirnam naravara strinam smaro murtiman gopanam sajano satam kshiti bhujam shasta swapitro shishu mrityur bhojapater virada vidusham tatvang param yoginam vrishninam paradevate vidito rangam gata sagraja. The various groups of people in the arena regarded Krishna in different ways when he entered it with his elder brother. The wrestlers saw Krishna as a lightning bolt, the men of Mathura as the best of males, the women as Cupid in person, the cowherd men as their relative, the impious rulers as a chastiser, his parents as their child, the king of the Bhojas as death, the unintelligent as the Supreme Lord's universal form, the yogis as the absolute truth, and the Vrishnis as their supreme worshipable deity. Commentary. This verse shows that Krishna is the personified essential purport of all the Upanishads. Krishna, who is declared in the Shruti to be the great original form of all ras, Maharasa Sarup, manifested himself within the wrestling arena to the different types of people present in accordance with their particular mentalities. In front of the wrestlers like Chanura, who had bodies as big as mountains, Krishna was like a thunderbolt. Though Krishna has tender, cool, and gentle limbs, he appeared to the envious wrestlers to be extremely hard, like a mountain, with harsh, pain-inflicting limbs. Though sugar candy is sweet, it tastes bitter to one with jaundice. Though Krishna's form was seen by the wrestlers and other similarly inclined spectators, they did not taste the real form, the rasa sarup of the Lord, but rather experienced rasa bhas in their hearts. For the men of Mathura, who were non-envious from their very birth and endowed with a gentle, generalized mood of pure love, Krishna appeared as the best of men, possessing the most excellent qualities and performing the most amazing and extraordinary pastimes. Because the minds of these men were situated in pure goodness, they appreciated Krishna's true identity as the best of males, and thus they relished the mellow of astonishment, Vishmaya-ras. The young women of Mathura, who were without any trace of material lust and full of prem, appreciated Krishna's true identity as the original Cupid. Therefore, within their hearts, Krishna manifested the mood of conjugal affection, Ujjvala ras. By the use of the word murtiman, incarnation or embodiment, as a modifying adjective for smara, for Cupid, it indicates that all other realizations are limbs or expansions of this particular Sarup, Krishna's form as the transcendental Cupid comative. Oh, cool. Let me just... Interesting. The cowherd boys appreciated Krishna's true identity, his true Sarup, as their intimate friends. Thus, among them, he manifested the moods of friendship, Sakyaras, and the mellow of humor, Hasyaras. The impious kings who were burdening the earth and offending the Lord's devotees saw Krishna as their destroyer. But since being the destroyer is not the Sarup of Krishna, who is the well-wisher of all and the reservoir of unlimited pleasure, persons like wrestlers could not appreciate Krishna's true identity. Among them, Krishna manifested rasa bhas in the mood of anger, Rodra ras. One second, let me just drink some water. For his parents, Nanda and Vasudeva, or else by Vasudeva and Devaki, Krishna appeared as a baby, indicating that they appreciated his Sarup, since being the son of Nanda and Vasudeva are both his true identity. Thus they experienced the mood of parental love, Vatsalya ras, and also the mood of compassion, Karuna ras, because they saw that there were persons present who wanted to hurt Krishna. Kamsa, the king of the Bhojas, saw Krishna as death. Krishna, who is a stream of sweet, intoxicating nectar, does not have a sarup of death. Thus, Kamsa did not really taste Krishna, but simply got a dim reflection of transcendental taste, abhas, in the form of fright, bhayanaka ras. To Kamsa's ignorant priests and other offenders, Krishna appeared as an ordinary, mundane person. Such bewildered persons said, "Just see, what sort of supreme lord is this that steals others' wives and slaughters cows and other innocent creatures? Indeed, even now his limbs are contaminated with the bones and blood of some living being, which is wicked even for ordinary men. Thus, Krishna is most repulsive to look at." Since such extremely sinful blasphemers, who were unintelligent and more fallen than demons, like Kamsa, had no attraction for Krishna, their mood was a rasa bhas of ghastliness, vibhatsaras. For the yogis such as Sanak, Krishna was the supreme truth in person, the Param Brahma, which means that they did not appreciate Krishna's true identity. In them, Krishna manifested the mellow of neutrality, Shantaras. The members of the Vrishni dynasty saw Krishna as their most worshipable supreme lord. They tasted his sarup and the mood of servitude, Dasaras. Among the 10 types of people described in the arena, 4, being inimical to Krishna, were unable to appreciate the transcendental moods of relationship with him, and thus could not taste the real ras of Krishna, who is the source of all ras. The other 6 classes of persons relished 8 rasas. The Upanishads say, Raso Vaisa Rasa Hyayam Labdhanandi Bhavati. The Supreme Lord is the very form of ras. Having tasted that ras, our most astonishing bliss, the living entity becomes completely blissful. It is confirmed here in the 10th canto's description of Kamsa's wrestling match that Krishna is that ras. He is raso vaisaha. The above statement on ras from the Upanishads means that though a person may be blissful, if he attains Krishna, tam labdva, who is ras personified, he then becomes completely full of bliss, ananda bhavati. Hatam kuvalaya pidam, hatam kuvalaya pidam, trishtva tavapi durjayo, kangso manasyapi tada, brisham udvivije nripa. When Kangsa saw that Kuvalayapid was dead and the 2 brothers were invincible, he was overwhelmed with anxiety, O king. Commentary. Manasyapi means even though Kangsa was a great hero, or else, before Kangsa was disturbed with anxiety, and now he had become completely overtaken by anxiety. Tore jaturangagato mahabujo, vichitra vesha bharanas ragambaro, yata natavuttama yata natavuttama vesha mana kshipanto prabhaya nirikshatam. Arrayed with variegated ornaments, garlands, and garments, just like a pair of excellently costumed actors. The two mighty armed lords shone splendidly in the arena. Indeed, they overpowered the minds of all onlookers with their effulgences. Commentary. Krishna and Balaram touched the minds of those who were looking at them. Nirikshatavuttama purusho jana manchastita nagararashtaka nripa praharshave kotkalikte kshananana papurna tripta nayanaistarananam. O king, as the citizens of the city and the people from outlying districts gaze upon these 2 supreme personalities from their seats in the galleries, the force of the people's happiness caused their eyes to open wide and their faces to blossom. They drank in the vision of the Lord's faces without becoming satiated. Commentary. The eyes of the people in the galleries opened like lotuses blossoming at sunrise to drink the sweetness of the faces of Krishna and Balaram. Pibanta iva chakshurbhyam ihanta iva jivaya jagranta iva nasabhyam shlishyanta iva bahubi. Uchu parasparam teva yata drishtam yata shrutam Tadrupagunamadurya pragalbhya smarita iva. The people seemed to be drinking Krishna and Balaram with their eyes, licking them with their tongues, smelling them with their nostrils, and embracing them with their arms. Reminded of the Lord's beauty, character, charm, and bravery, the members of the audience began describing these features to one another according to what they had seen and heard. Commentary. Oh, look at that. We just made it to the 50% mark. We're now officially halfway through the book. This verse describes how the Mathuravasis relished the beauty of Krishna. With wide open eyes, they looked. With thirsty tongues, they tasted. With flared nostrils, they smelled. And with open arms, they embraced Sri Krishna. They began to speak about what they had seen, breaking the bow, and heard, lifting Govardhan Hill, but not in any chronological order. Krishna was very attractive with his bluish-black color mixed with red blood and the elephant tusk in his hands. They remembered Krishna's qualities of heroism, the varieties of his sweetness, such as his laughter and sidelong glances, and his boldness in breaking the bow without hesitation. Having seen or heard these things, they tried to remember them, smarita iva, though they were not qualified, and to talk about them. Eto bhagavata shakshad dhare narayanasya hi avatirna vihangshena vasudevasya veshmani. The people said, "These two boys are certainly expansions of the Supreme Lord Narayan, who have descended to this world in the home of Vasudeva." Commentary. For the audience, Krishna and Balaram appear to be plenary expansions, Ankshena, of Narayan. Esha vai kiladevakyam jato nitaschargo kulam kalam etang vasam gurdho vavridhe nandaveshmani. This one, Krishna, took birth from Mother Devaki and was brought to Gokul, where he has remained concealed all this time, growing up in the house of King Nanda. Putananena nitantam chakravartascha danava arjuno guhyaka keshi dhenukonyetad chatarvidha. He made Putana and the whirlwind demon He made Putana and the whirlwind demon meet with death, pulled down the twin Arjuna trees, and killed Shankachura, Keshi, Dhenuka, and similar demons. Commentary. Krishna killed many demons such as Shankachura. Gava sapala etena davagne parimochita kaliyo damita sarpa indrascha vimadakrita saptaham ekahastena drittodri pravaro muna varsha vatashanibhyascha paritraptam chagokulam. He saves the cows and the cowherds from he saved the cows and the cowherds from a forest fire and subdued the serpent Kaliya. He removed Lord Indra's false pride by holding up the best of mountains with one hand for an entire week, thus protecting the inhabitants of Gokul from rain, wind, and hail. Gopyosya nitamudita hasita prekshanam mukham Pashyantyo vividhangshtapangs taranti sma shramam muda. The gopis overcame all kinds of distress and experienced great happiness by seeing his face, which is always cheerful with smiling glances and ever free of fatigue. Commentary. Because of seeing Krishna's face, the gopis were easily able to surpass the obstacles and scolding of their husbands, mothers-in-law, and other relatives. Wow, they really know a lot about Krishna. Vadantanena vangshoyam yadosu bahu vishruta shriyam yasho mahatvangcha lapsyate parirakshita. It is said that under his full protection, the Yadu dynasty will become extremely famous and attain wealth, glory, and power. Commentary. The learned have said that the Yadu family, being protected by Krishna, will attain great power and wealth. Ayam chasyagraja Śrīmam Ramakama lalochana Pralambo nihato yena Vatsako ye pakadaya. This lotus-eyed elder brother of his, Lord Balaram, is the proprietor of all transcendental opulences. He has killed Pralamba, Vatsaka, Baka, and other demons. That Krishna killed Bakasura. Anyways, maybe there's another Baka. Yeah, there is another Baka, I remember now. Okay, commentary. First, Krishna killed Vatsasura and then Bakasura. Later, Balaram vanquished Pralambasura. However, the Mathuravasis speaking this verse give the wrong sequence and credit Balaram as the annihilator of all these demons. The reason for the mistake is that as news of Krishna's exploits spread among ordinary people, the facts became somewhat muddled. Okay. There is another Bakasura, though. I'm not sure. I can't remember the story clearly, though. Janeshvevam Pruvaneshu Turyeshu Ninnadatsucha Krishna Ramo Samabhashya Chanuro Vakyama Brabit. While the people talked in this way and the musical instruments resounded, the wrestlers Chanura addressed Krishna and Balaram with the following words. Maybe we should end here because it's 8:29. Or should we just hear how they address them first? Let's just read a little bit. He Nanda Suno He Rama Bhavanto. Sorry. He Nanda Suno He Rama Bhavanto Vira Sammato Niyuddha Kushalo Shrutva Ragya Hutto Didrikshuna. Chanura said, O son of Nanda, O Ram, you two are well respected by courageous men and are both skillful at wrestling. Having heard of your prowess, the king has called you here, wanting to see for himself. Commentary. You are skillful in arm-to-arm wrestling, niyuddha. Priyam ragya prakurvatya shreyo vindanti vai praja. Manasa karmana vacha viparitam atonyata. Subjects of the king who tried to please him with their thoughts, acts, and words are sure to achieve good fortune, but those who fail to do so will suffer the opposite fate. Nityam pramudita gopa vatsapala yatasputam vaneshu malayudhena kridantascharanayantiga. It is well known that cowherd boys are always joyful as they tend their calves, and that the boys playfully wrestle with each other while grazing their animals in the various forests. Commentary. Here Trinura explains how Krishna and Balaram became expert at wrestling. Tasmad ragya priyam yuyam vayam cha karavamahe bhutani na prasiddhanti sarva bhutta mayonripa. Therefore, let's do what the king wants. Everyone will be pleased with us, for the king embodies all living beings. I'm going to just finish this chapter because it just turned 8:31 and we only have like 4 verses left. So, Tam nishamya bravit Krishno deshakalo chitam vacha niyuddham atmano bhishtam manyamano bhinandyatacha. Hearing this, Lord Krishna, who likes to wrestle and welcomes the challenge, replied with words appropriate to the time and place. 1 days long? No. See, we're at the end. Okay. Prajabhoja paterasya vayam chapi vanechara karavama priyam nityam tanna param anugraha. Lord Krishna said, although forest dwellers, we are also subjects of the Bhoja king. We must gratify his desires, for such behavior will confer upon us the greatest benefit. Balavayam tula balai, kritishyamo yatochitam, pavenni yuddhama madharma, sparshan malla sabhasada. We are just young boys and should play with those of equal strength. The wrestling match must go on properly so that The wrestling match must go on properly so that irreligion does not taint the respectable members of the audience. Commentary. Krishna said, "We should fight with boys our own age so that no irreligion will touch the organizers of the match. Any other arrangement would be unfair." Chanura uvacha. Nabalo na kishorastvam balascha balinam vara lilayebho hatoyena sahasra dvipasattva bhrit. Chanura said, "You aren't really a child or even a young man, and neither is Balaram, the strongest of the strong. After all, you playfully killed an elephant who had the strength of 10,000 other elephants. Tasmar bhavadbhyam balibhir yodhavyam nanayotravai mai vikramavarshneya palena sahamushtika." Therefore, you too should fight powerful wrestlers. There's certainly nothing unfair about that. You, O descendant of Vrishni, can show your prowess against me, and Balaram can fight with Mushtika. Commentary. Chanura said, "You should fight with wrestlers who are strong like me, not with boys who cannot match your strength." Thus ends the commentary on the 33rd chapter of the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam for the pleasure of the devotees in accordance with the previous acharyas. Oh, we finally come to it. Chapter 44, the killing of Kamsa. So we'll begin that tomorrow. Yay, I'm excited. I mean, I'm sad Krishna's out of Raj, but it is going to be fun seeing Kamsa getting killed. All right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhar Vikagiri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Guru Dev ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Shri Param Gurudev ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura ki Jai. Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopala Bhada Das Raghunath Shrada Goswami Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Ṭhākura ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Braja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Sarva Abhishta Bharata Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda ki Jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Brinda Devi ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki Jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-Bhāgavatam की जय, श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर पार की जय, श्री Sārārtha-darśinī वृत्ति की जय, समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवाय कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः। वंशा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। दंडवत प्रणाम everybody. हरि बोल। हरि बोल मधुसूदन प्रभु।